Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Mitch. Good Wednesday evening to you all. Hope you guys are feeling well out there and doing well, staying safe, staying warm. Today, I believe, is going to certainly be the last really bad day as far as this winter storm. Today was probably the worst day, especially earlier this morning, but it's still ongoing out there this evening with the ice across Texas and other states too. But it was pretty wild seeing some videos out of areas like Austin, Texas this morning where it got well below freezing down there, well into the upper 20s. And somebody did a video this morning on Twitter, and I was just amazed, and it was just wild. And all they were doing is just pointing their phone out in the sky at about 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. And it was just nothing but flashes out in the early morning sky, and it just basically was transformers blowing in the distance continuously. So dangerous storm. I've seen pictures of huge oak trees just completely split down the middle in all ways. People have lost a lot of trees, and some of these trees have fell on cars and houses. So this has certainly materialized to be a pretty nasty ice storm for you folks, and we got a little bit left. And then tomorrow we begin to thaw out for a lot of people. We'll begin to warm up above freezing. And then as we get into Friday, certain areas will get into the 50s. So we certainly will warm up pretty quickly, which is good news. So we're going to give you kind of the last really big update on this. And then as we get into tomorrow, really we'll be wrapping up. And we'll kind of talk about what could happen overnight and what's going on right now. And then we'll give you an update on that Arctic blast that is really going to be bring some very cold air for the Northeast. But it's going to be very fleeting, very quick. It's not going to last long, but it's definitely going to punch you folks in the face up in the Northeast this weekend. I'm telling you, it is just you're just going to be like, wow, where did that come from? And then as quick as it moves in, it'll move out just as quick. So that's the good news with that. And then we'll give you an update on what could potentially happen Friday morning in areas of North Carolina and maybe even Virginia. I think that we could mix with a little bit of snow, maybe turn to all wet snow sometime Friday morning in North Carolina. Am I expecting several inches of snow? No, but I'll talk about it a little bit. Then the last frame here, we'll briefly mention what I'm looking at going forward into February and talking about any signals that I'm seeing. So thank y'all for the incredible support. It's really been awesome. I've been thinking over today. I haven't really had any negative or rude comments. It seems like when my videos do very well, the more highly viewed they are, the more you just see some scattered and sprinkled kind of rude comments there. And as I grow on my YouTube channel, I let them bother me less and less. But occasionally, we're all human, and I'll read one, and it just kind of gets under my skin. But we haven't seen it. We have not seen it, and I really appreciate just all the nice comments. I'm telling you, every time you guys say, we appreciate your hard work, that means the absolute world to me, guys. It does. I can't tell you guys how, and I'm not sitting here saying that because I want y'all to comment. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just telling y'all how much that means to me. So thank y'all for showing the love and the appreciation. It means the world. It really does. So if you folks have not subscribed, certainly consider doing that. Like the video if you like it. And as always, if you guys got anything that I can pray about or pray over, please put it in the comments below so I can pray over it and so others can do so too. So 3-minute intro again. Apologize for people who don't like that. Sometimes I just get the rambling. But watches and warnings, you got wind chill watches, wind chill warnings, wind chill advisories. The colors of all those are just everywhere. I don't think they're color coded correctly. Somebody said that they think I was colorblind this morning because I was calling this color a teal color. That is definitely purple. You are right. I was thinking of something else. So this is definitely purple. I think I called it teal this morning. So basically this purple color right into here, that is winter weather advisories. You still got winter storm warnings up for the pink, and for this really deep dark purple right here, you have still got the ice storm warnings. And none of this will probably expire until we probably get until tomorrow. And then these warnings and advisories will begin to expire very, very quickly. You also got a lake effect snow warning for Watertown, New York, and a couple communities up here off the eastern shores of Lake Ontario. So we'll see what happens there. But this is going to be a pretty quick and pretty potent blast of Arctic air that hits the Northeast. So we'll breeze through this fairly quickly. We take a look at kind of what's going on around the Dallas area, and widespread freezing rain. There's probably even some sleet mixing in. But this is mixed rain and ice. I don't think that's correct considering the fact that you are well below freezing in this area. But it goes to be said, some areas might be above freezing. So it's very marginal now. It's not like yesterday where you were well into the 20s. Temperatures are actually warming and will warm up overnight. In fact, you will probably change from freezing rain to probably some rain in the wee hours of the morning in Dallas. which it physically looks the same, but the temperature makes it different, right? So, I mean, this is still widespread frozen precipitation in North Texas. You still got in Little Rock. I'm not going to, well, might as well pull the radar up in Little Rock and see what's going on. And you still got freezing rain falling in Little Rock. Widespread freezing rain falling. Temperatures are getting a little bit more marginal in this area too. Still freezing rain falling in Memphis. You're froze up. And even some sleet being reported in Nashville, where I think a little bit later here in the next couple hours, you can get more maybe of a widespread wintry mix in Nashville. I think it's possible. But you see this moving through right here. So you got some reports of sleet. This is more so just sleet, but you got a freezing rain report right there. And so you got a little bit of wintry mix out there, like we were kind of thinking there was going to be this evening out in Nashville and just Tennessee in general. So we'll take a look at what's going on in Texas overnight, and this will continue. You'll have waves of moisture, but as you can tell, there's little pockets of green right in here. So that tells me that the temperatures at the surface is beginning to warm up now. So you're starting to lose the really true grip of those sub-freezing temperatures at the surface, and some of this freezing rain is beginning to mix with just rain and just be flat out rain at maybe 34, 30, 33, 34 degrees. So, in Dallas, Fort Worth, you begin to maybe potentially switch to just plain old rain by the time you're waking up tomorrow morning. But one little area of precipitation that I'm watching that can be very interesting across Texas tomorrow is this little backside moisture, almost a little upper level low piece of energy. And this could typically bring some heavy pockets of precipitation. This could bring some burst of snow for areas of western Texas tomorrow. Who knows? They might drift for some burst of sleet all the way into Abilene, maybe all the way into Dallas. But I think that this could bring a convective element right out here in Texas tomorrow morning into about early afternoon tomorrow. So we'll watch this little pocket of precipitation. I hate this because for whatever reason, these frozen precipitation accumulation maps, or whatever you want to call it, it starts it off on what's kind of already fell over the last 6 hours, I believe. So some of this has already fell, but we'll go through the rest of the ice totals throughout the rest of the duration of this event. I would cut these in half, and this is about what you can expect. So even though it says over 4/10 of an inch of ice, I would say maybe another 2/10 of an inch of ice, maybe a 1/4 inch of ice in some of these areas, but additional ice accumulations overnight for the heart of Texas. But I really think the meat of the storm, really the core of the storm, has passed. I really do. So expect additional ice totals. Look at this and say, hey, we're going to get a little bit more ice tonight. But the light at the end of the tunnel is certainly here. A little bit of sleet with these pockets of kind of this backside moisture that could kind of flush through areas of Texas tomorrow. We could get some pockets of sleet or some snow. I wouldn't be surprised. I'm not sure if I'm buying this right in here at all, but I just know that we can mix with some sleet, especially as we get into the overnight hours. If we look at the rest of the Southeast, I'm not going to zone in on Tennessee or anything because you're already kind of dealing with what you're going to deal with right now throughout the next few hours, but we'll continue to move this forward. We're getting into about midnight tonight. Some more freezing rain, maybe some sleet mixing in that will move into the Nashville area. It'll probably drop maybe a degree below freezing. It might flirt around the 31, 32 degree mark. So some additional glazing overnight in the Nashville area and areas of central all the way to western Tennessee, even northwest Mississippi. You're going to get some more freezing rain that's going to move through, some pockets of sleet. And then even over here, maybe you'll mix with some snow in some of these counties in far northern Tennessee and northeast Tennessee. And then I think that you'll switch to some snow in about 4,000 to 5,000 feet up in the mountains of North Carolina and Tennessee. But I mean, this continues. You get to about 4 o'clock in the morning overnight tonight, and you still have waves of freezing rain moving through areas of Tennessee. And look at this. There's still freezing rain falling in Arkansas, waking up tomorrow morning. But I really think this will be a quick last punch of freezing rain. And then look, it's all green and yellow, which is just rain or heavy rain. One thing I'll back it up here is there's probably tomorrow morning going to be a wave of some light and maybe some pockets of moderate snow for southern areas of Virginia. You know how we got it in northern Virginia and areas of the Delmarva and the Northeast. This morning, we could potentially get it for southern areas of Virginia tomorrow. This might even mix with some snowflakes in the far northern counties of North Carolina. But if you watch out Roanoke, maybe Richmond, everybody in between, you certainly could see some snow flying around tomorrow morning. In fact, I think it's very possible. And then we move into tomorrow afternoon, widespread cold rain moves into Mississippi, Alabama, and then just turns into a soaker overnight. But look at these little pockets of blue right in here. You see this? I think those higher elevations, and we can actually get a little bit closer here. I think those higher elevations, this could be a heavy, wet snow not overnight. I meant tomorrow. This could be heavy, wet snow in these higher elevations. I think areas of the Smokies could get several inches of snow, even though I'm about to show you the National Weather Service forecast doesn't show that. But I think you could get a few inches of snow. There's a guy that does videos out of Asheville. God, I'm brain farting his name. But anyways, he's a really awesome dude. I think his name's Hunter. And he makes YouTube videos, and he's probably got one out for this event. But I think some of these higher elevations could get a few to maybe several inches of snow from this event tomorrow. If you're way up on the mountaintops, like 3, 4, especially 4,000 to 5,000 feet up or higher, which not many people live that far up, but there's certain people I got a guy that we talk on Twitter that lives about 4,500 feet up in Yancey County, North Carolina. He'll probably mix with some snow tomorrow. If not, get a period of accumulating snow. So this will be a heavy area of precipitation that flows through Atlanta, Columbia, Charlotte tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow evening, and just a soaking cold rain. I mean, it's going to rain too. This is going to be some heavy rain that moves to the Carolinas tomorrow. So, the snowfall forecast, they're not giving you guys much in the mountains, but I really think if you're pretty high up, a few to 4,000 to 5,000 feet up, especially about 5,000 feet up, I think, Mount Mitchell, Mount LeConte, certainly could get several inches of snow. That's what I think. So we'll see what happens with that. But the snow forecast from this is not much at all. But the potent shot of cold air is coming through. We'll start off tomorrow morning, already cold in the Northeast, but nothing too bad compared to average for this time of the year. And then the cold air, a cold day, nothing too bad. But as we're in the middle of the night tomorrow night, waking up tomorrow morning, the Arctic air starts to blow through, and you're well below zero in northern New York State, Vermont, New Hampshire, and the entire northern half of Maine. It's below zero. And the temperatures will actually drop in certain areas throughout the day. For example, in Boston, Friday morning, you'll wake up the temperatures in the teens. By the time you get into the afternoon, it might be 8 degrees. You might wake up and it's 17, 18 degrees. By the time you're heading home from work, it could be 8 or 7 degrees. And then by the time you get to Saturday morning, guys, look at these low temperatures. Single digits for New York City, low teens for Washington, D.C. Boston, you will likely be below zero, I think. All of southern New England will either be maybe a hair above zero or just below it or well below it. But New Hampshire, Vermont, Maine, this is going to freeze you up quickly. You're going to be well below zero, 10 to as much as 25 degrees below zero air temperature, not wind chill, air temperature. Then high Saturday, they rebound pretty decently. I think the worst will be probably Friday into Friday night, but it'll be a very cold day Saturday. The highs only in the teens, highs in the 20s in Washington, D.C., highs in the 30s. Highs in the 30s in Washington, D.C., highs in the 20s in New York City, Philadelphia. And then it won't even be that cold, honestly. In fact, it will actually warm up during the night, Saturday night and the Sunday morning. And it just, look, that's very quick. It's a very quick air mass that lasts no more than 24 to 36 hours. And then it heads out. And then by the time you get into Sunday, you're warming into the 40s in Boston. When the day before, you were locked well below freezing. So an interesting but quick hitting cold shot that it'll rock your world here for about 24 hours, but it'll move on out. Wind chills, guys, brutal. In fact, I'll stop it where it looks the coldest, which is right here. This is for about 10 p.m. Friday night. You're almost 60 degrees below zero as far as the wind chill. 20 to 25 degrees below zero in Boston. Vermont, New Hampshire, anywhere from 30 to 40 degrees below zero. Even in New York City, you're 10 to 15 degrees below zero wind chill. Single digits into the mid-Atlantic. Very, very cold temperatures. So, there's no point in staying on that long because it's not going to last long. It really isn't. One interesting thing, I kind of jumped ahead with the Arctic blast. I should have did this first, but Friday morning, right as this precipitation is getting kind of shunted south, we could have, you see this blue showing up? We could have a little bit of rain switching to snow right as the precipitation trails off and off the coast of the southeast. So I wouldn't be surprised if Raleigh, Fayetteville, Goldsboro, maybe all the way down to Wilmington, just the coastal plains of North Carolina, sees a mix of rain and snow. Not really any freezing rain or anything like that. It would be a mix of rain or maybe wet snow or maybe just a period of wet snow falling. In fact, you see it here. I mean, this is midday Friday. I mean, look at this. I'll click a sounding, right in this area, well north of Wilmington. And, it's 38 degrees at around 1 p.m. Your dew point's 33. But you look at let me take a deep breath here. I'm fumbling my words here. But if you look at the actual sounding, there is no warm nose. Okay, there's no warm nose that extends above this 32 degree line, which is the 0 degrees Celsius that rides up here. So there's a good bit of cold air aloft. So if you had a warm nose, which if this red area was extending way out here or way over here, then that means this would probably fall as a cold rain. And it might still be a cold rain here in this case because the surface temperature is 38 degrees. But there's going to be a possibility of some wet flakes. I think it'll happen a Friday morning. So don't let it take you by surprise. If you're south of Raleigh, I wouldn't be surprised at all. The GEFS ensembles, I think this shows I don't think you're going to get a half to an inch of snow here in southeast North Carolina, but I think it picks up on the signal pretty well that there is a chance that maybe somebody can briefly pick up a dusting. I wouldn't be surprised one bit, but we'll see what happens with this. Going forward, guys, I'm not going to stay on this long, then I'm going to wrap this video up. We move through this Arctic blast. This moves through. We get rid of it. The ridge builds back in again. You have a coastal low that tries to pop off the coast of the southeast later this weekend into Monday. It doesn't do anything. And then what happens after that? Everybody's wondering, what does February hold in store? We all know February can be a wild month. Okay, it's February 1st. So the ridge builds over the east, warmer than average temperatures. We know that. And then I think we won't really get any storm systems for maybe about a week. I think it's going to be pretty quiet. And then here comes a storm that starts to fire off. We don't know, excuse me, I have the hiccups. We don't know exactly the track it's going to take, but here comes a storm flying through the middle of the country. Who knows what this is going to do. But one thing we're starting to see about 9 to 10 days out, we're starting to see a big trough push. And there's no point in talking this to death. This is an intense, a huge high pressure moving in over the Rockies. I can tell you that would pump some true Arctic air. But about 10, 11, 12 days out, you get a big cold front that moves through. Coastal low tries a little bit of a late bloomer situation, tries to pop off. And I mean, look, it throws snow from North Carolina and Virginia. Now, it's not a forecast, guys, but maybe our next opportunity might be, I don't know, mid-February. We'll have to watch, guys. But there's no details, really, guys. I mean, there isn't going to be for a while. But we're certainly, I'm watching, if I had to say there was an area I'm watching, it would be the mid-February time frame for the next thing to really talk about this of interest. So that's all I got. Thank y'all for tuning in. God bless all y'all. Have a great rest of your night and stay safe.